Hi guys, how you going?
Nearly got smacked by that.
Did he? Well, we try and provide you with as much content as possible.
Should the family members of abuse, survivors of abuse who have passed away, get some form of redress?
I think that's something Erica Stanford is working through and will make announcements, and I'd rather leave that to her. I know how sensitive it is. It's best to let her be the person who makes those comments.
Do you have any principled view on it?
No, I don't. It's easy to say that you're going to take a principled view, but actually all the circumstances are so different. Family relationships can be complicated, and I think for one person or another to say that it's all simple and it should be done this way or that doesn't really help. So no, I think Erica has done a good work dealing with a lot of tough circumstances, and I think we should support where she's going with it.
Do you think $150,000 comes close to the lifetime of damage that has been done to people who were on the receiving end of that torture?
No, I don't think that the money ever can, ever will, or is intended to somehow put a price on the suffering that people have had from torture. Of course, it can't do that. It's not the intention. What is the intention is to make sure that we properly respect and acknowledge what's happened there. So there you go. No problem.
Should the government do something about the? Oh wait.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Should the government do something about the judge that abused Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters at the Northern Club?
Well, it's not up to the government to interfere in the judiciary like that. It is up to the head judge to uphold the standards for the judiciary, and I wouldn't presume to tell her how to do that. I think the key issue here is you've had a member of the judiciary attacking a member of the government, allegedly, in quite a despicable way by the sounds of what's been reported. But it doesn't help for the government to then start telling the judiciary what to do. That has to be sorted out in their house.
Do you see it as indicative of any wider problems though with the judiciary and whether they're showing, comity, I think is the phrase, respect towards government?
Well, it's, what the facts as they're reported is a clear breach of comity. That doesn't mean that every judge should be judged the same way. One of the things I believe in is not visiting the sins of one person on the entire group, and maybe being Christmas time there should even be a bit of forgiveness, who knows.
Your reaction to the Easter Members' Bill getting voted down?
Oh, real disappointment. I think it showed that the Labour Party is not in a mood to be constructive yet. They're still sulking after losing power. They could have said, okay, we've got some concerns, but we appreciate a lot of people want this, so we're either giving a free vote to our people or even all of us voting it to select committee. Instead, the Labour Party chose to whip themselves and actually not allow a free vote, even though I'm sure many people on the Labour benches were secretly hoping the law would pass in spite of them voting against it, because they want the convenience too, just like anyone else.
Why are you
Yep. All right. Sorry, steps which direction?
Yeah.
Why are you singling out Labour though? I mean, there are MPs from a number of parties that voted against it.
Well, I mean, for me, Te Pāti Māori are basically a write-off, so we skip them. And the Greens aren't much better, whereas the Labour Party do actually still aspire to be a serious party of government in New Zealand. That is just
all the government MPs that voted for it would have passed.
Actually, we had a conscience vote, and a majority of the government MPs did vote for it. I'm just saying if Labour Party had given the same ability to choose to their own MPs, it would have passed.
Did all the Labour Party vote against it?
As I understand it, from what was indicated in their speeches, they indicated that they were going to be whipped against it, yeah. Certainly those numbers seem to stack up. So.
Was your party all whipped to vote for it?
No, our party had a free vote. They just had to vote for freedom in order to stay in the party, that's all.
Had the freedom to vote for freedom.
Well, look, you're free to choose in the ACT Party. You've got to vote to make New Zealanders' lives better through personal choice and freedom, or you vote another party. No, I'm kidding. If one of our MPs had voted against it, then that would have been their choice. We allow a conscience vote, but fair to say that ACT MPs been pretty sound and principled, all voted to give another option to a bunch of New Zealanders that doesn't hurt anyone else. And if you can make something better without taking away from anyone, why wouldn't you do it? That's my question to people who voted against this bill. It's mad.
Was it surprised it failed?
No, not surprised, just disappointed. It was an opportunity to just make life a little bit easier at a certain time of year for some people. It took nothing away from anyone else. I mean, let's be realistic. The supermarkets are open anyway. They just won't have to put a curtain over one aisle. That's all we're asking for. And yet, I think it speaks to where the Labour Party is up to in their grieving process coming out of government.
Chris Hipkins just said that Kiwis only have about 3.5 days of a year off. Or what's your
Well, it's
take on that
absolute
view?
rubbish. I mean, Kiwis get 4 weeks plus the stat days, and they have the opportunity to take whatever other working arrangements they have. It's a free country, so the idea that you only get 12 days off a week, I mean, I tell you what, maybe Chris Hipkins should start working more and only taking 12 days off a week, because what I saw yesterday was a Labour Party who had nothing to say about the half-year economic and fiscal update. I didn't see anything on their social media, didn't see any decent press releases. You've got to ask, as someone who's been in opposition and thrived and enjoyed being in opposition, are they letting the side down? They've got to take a good hard look at themselves. Maybe Chris Hipkins should only take 12.5 days a year off.
Making the arguments that that Easter trading, trading alcohol on Easter would somehow lead to alcoholism, or was related to alcoholism in some way.
Well, you just got to ask yourself the counterfactual. Are we seriously saying that our strategy to prevent alcohol harm is for people to have 2 days off buying it a year? That's not viable. Can't be true.
Well, thank you.
No problem. Right, thank you very much, guys.